What's good, YouTube? It's your girl, Nick. Coming to you today with, I don't know, just random talking. Um, I've watched in TV news or TV show, streaming show. Um, I've watched the third and fourth episodes of Zatima. It's starting to get that Tyler Perry Sisters and Oval-esque feel to it with the repetitive dialogue, and it's starting to annoy me. Um, I think I had the characters wrong. Not think I know. Jake is Jake is on Sisters, but that's the other guy, the guy that Zach has become friends with, and the one that's helping him on Zatima. His name's Bryce, so it's a different person, but his character also works with Gary. Um, we see in these latest two episodes, um, we see it picks up with Zach still being interrogated by the lady from the SEC, and she keep talking to him in a way like, I know you lying, so just tell the truth. And he continues to keep giving her, his rehearsed story, and saying that he don't know the lady and all that. Then she even says, well, I'm gonna go call my guys to come in here. So she goes to open the door as if she's calling the rest of the people from the SEC to come in. Nobody comes in because she doesn't have anybody. And then she sits down and say, all right, I'm going to comb through this case again and try to find the evidence, because right now I don't have hard proof that you got the tip from the senator's wife, but I know that's what you did. And she goes on and leaves or whatever. Zach is happy. He passes out on the floor basically after she leaves, and he finally sees that he ain't going to jail. But she says she's gonna come over. But my whole thing is, first of all, when do the SEC send an investigator to your personal residence? Excuse me, to investigate you, and they send a person alone? That's not smart. Um, and it's not realistic. Like, I wish that Tyler would pay attention to the small details in these shows and make things more believable and more realistic. So then Fatima, I think Fatima comes home or whatever, and then it's like the next day, and they both got a full schedule, whatever. He runs with the Bryce guy, and they go running in the direction, and they come across this house with a for sale sign in front, and he was saying he wanted to buy it to Zach told Bryce he wanted to look into buying the house so that he can basically have some rental property or whatever. And then he got a house next door to his house that it could be a rental property, because as a matter of fact, the stripper girl pops up at the house like she's supposed to. Could not pop up. She was supposed to come over and do a DNA test. She come over and talk about, just give me the house next door, because I'm not doing no DNA test. And so she like, give me this house next door, whatever. I can live there, whatever. He just son, we don't need a DNA test, which to me seems like, girl, you lying, and you trying to drag this out for as long as you can. And then he said he don't want to see the little boy. She asked Zach, do he want to hold the boy and see him? He said no, he alright. Fatima was like, oh, I want to hold him. So she takes the little boy, and they go over in the corner while Zach and the girl are still talking or whatever. And then next thing you know, she said that she ain't doing that DNA test um until Zach give her the back child support that he owes her. And it's like, how do you think that somebody giving you some money for a child that isn't confirmed to be theirs biologically? Like she's saying that she's not gonna do a DNA test or let her baby be tested until Zach give her the back pay for child support. But anyway, she takes the baby and leaves. Fatima turns around and lets Zach know that she already done swabbed the baby mouth, and she gonna get it processed at the law firm because they have a lab there to do DNA testing. How convenient. And he said, "You are so smart." So she said she's gonna take it to work and get it tested, and the test will come back within 36 hours. So that happens. After Bryce was Zach also informs Bryce that he wants to get an office. He don't want to work out of the house, so he do want an office. So Bryce, they set up an appointment for him to meet up with Bryce and go look at some offices and stuff like that. We get a scene where Fatima gets up and says she want to go for a run. They go for a run. She tells Zach to stay behind because she said you can't keep up with me when I'm angry and I need to process things. I need to go running. And what she was angry and needed to process was the fact that she had a hair salon appointment. Her and Angela is the best friend. Yeah, Angela is the one friend that's dating Bryce. So they go to the hair salon. It's not Cameron's, it's another salon. They go there and they have a conversation about the friend Belinda, who said that she slept with Zach in the past, and um she did the whole thing with showing up the Karen job and trying to get Karen to leave Zach alone because she made that he had a one night stand with her and just basically ghosted her or whatever. So some words got exchanged or whatever, and Fatima gets an inkling. And next thing you know, we see Zach at home. Zach come home, but the girl was there, Belinda, the friend. She throwing herself at Zach, coming on Zach, all jumping on him. He pushing her off like, "Girl, stop! I'm not into you. I love Fatima. You supposed to be her friend. Why you doing all this?" So he keep pushing her away, and she won't stop. So he tried to run upstairs, and I'm guessing he running upstairs to the bedroom, thinking he gonna lock himself in there and get away from her and call Fatima about what her friend doing. But he get up there, and Fatima is there, sitting on the bed, pissed, cause she's heard everything. So the episode goes off, and then the second episode comes on. She pissed, but she heard everything, and then you hear the friend running up the steps behind Zach, and she come in. She tried to play it off. She said, "See, I was trying to prove to you that he ain't shit. You need to break up with him. This nigga ain't, he ain't shit." And Fatima was like, "I think you need to leave right now." Zach like, "Bet, listen to her and leave." Fatima going for her purse. Y'all know Fatima got the blicky in her purse. So the friend ain't listening. Zach like, "You better leave. I'm telling you for your own good." She don't want to leave. Fatima pulls out the blicky and shoots in their direction. And of course she misses because she's a good shot, but she missed it on purpose. She did a warning shot. The friend leaves. The friend makes it her business to go call. Belinda calls the other friend, Angela. Pleads her case to Angela. Tells Angela that, it was Zach. Zach came on to her. And all this, like Fatima wasn't sitting there and hearing everything she was doing or whatever, right? So of course, Fatima is like really, really hurt, crying. She really upset, raw emotion right now, because I think this girl is like her line sister, like they in the same sorority. They college friends, I'm guessing. They've been friends for years. And you do me like this, you know? So she wants Zach to spoon with her, so they spoon. Next thing you know, we see Zach come downstairs in the kitchen. He trying to get something. The doorbell rings. It's Angela and Bryce at the door. She like, "I want to speak to my friend," and he was saying, she's sleeping right now. She calming. She's trying to get some rest and wrap her mind around. She hurt right now, and so Angela coming on the defense because she believed in the story that Belinda told her. She yells up the steps to Fatima. Fatima tell her it's alright to come out. She go up, she talked to Fatima. In the meantime, Zach talked to Bryce. And Bryce was kind of believing the story that Belinda told Angela too. Because he date Angela, so he want to take her side, And Next thing you know, she go upstairs and Fatima tells her, like, girl, like, I didn't want to believe it, but I sat right here. I heard everything. He never once came on to her. He didn't do anything to her. It was all her. And she was like, but your car not outside. How do you get in? And so Fatima says, she climbed up a window or climbed up something to get upstairs and get in the room where they wouldn't know that she was in there. And the reason she knew something was happening because some words were exchanged at the salon while they were in there. And she asked Belinda, how did you know I wouldn't be here? She was like, cuz I know it took you about 2.5 hours to get your hair done. So she timed her so that she could try to put the moves on Zach. And then if Fatima wasn't there, she definitely was going to spin it and make it seem like Zach came on her or whatever. But the next day, she wants to go, like I said, she wants to go jog to clear her head. She want to jog before she go to work. And so Zach was like, all right, I'm going to go with you. And she basically was like, you ain't going to be able to keep up. You're not a runner like that. But so they go jog and he lagging behind. He tell her to go ahead. She jog ahead and she jogs right into her ex that she was with just before Zach. And apparently this guy dumped her and went off and got married to somebody else. And he wanted to tell her he's sorry. They go to dinner and all this and that. And she like no, and she trying to get past him and he keeps stopping her. And then Zach runs up and she tells Zach, remember the guy I told you about? So and so, so and so, well this is him. And Zach was like, oh, thanks. And the guy like, thanks for what? He like, because you broke up with her for somebody else and now I got it. And she's a very good woman, basically. And so they jog off. Then we see Fatima at work. And apparently Angela works in the same building. I don't know what she does, but she works in the same building all of a sudden. And she comes down and talks to Fatima in the bathroom because Fatima was working. She gets a call from the front receptionist. Since she got a visitor, she come. It's the ex-boyfriend. He tells her he want to have dinner with her. Please see him for dinner. And she say no. And that's when he told her he wanted to see her for dinner because the relationship with the other woman didn't work out. And he got cancer. He don't have that much longer to live, is what he says. So she talks to Angela in the bathroom about it because she emotional. She knows she loves Zach and she don't want nothing with the ex-boyfriend. But, seeing him and then the stuff that happened the day before with the best friend threw her for a loop. Zach, on the other hand, he meets up with Bryce. They look at a property for an office space. He tells him the space costs $3,600. But he offers to go into business with him. And Zach trying to do realty and flip houses and stuff. And the guy was like, I'm gonna do you'll be doing it full time, but I'm gonna come over here and work part time with you or whatever, and we can split everything down the middle. So that's the plan. The other friend with the wife and kids, he calls Zach on the phone, talking about hooking up to go to some party or do something. And Zach is like, you know your wife not letting you do that. And he was like, I'm not talking about her. Like, come on, you gonna come hang with Zach? Like, no, because apparently the wife know Belinda or know somebody that know Belinda or whatever. So Zach, like, no, I'm not walking into that trap. So that was basically it for this episode. I mean, those two episodes 3 and 4. I've also been watching Reasonable Doubt and this the show with Emma Yahtzee Coronaldi. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She's the main character. Her character's name is Jacqueline, but they call her Jax. Uh, the guy who plays her husband's name is Lewis. His name McKinley something, but lately he's been playing on. The first time I seen him on TV, he played the hotshot basketball player on Hit the Floor when that first started. Then I've seen him playing on Queen Sugar. He plays Dominic. He's Nova's boyfriend on Queen Sugar. He also played Nikki's father and Yaya. I think her character name was Angela too. On Our Kind of People. That show deserved more than one freaking season. But he played her baby father who was incarcerated and who also got let out of jail at the towards the end of the season. But he plays the husband on this show, Reasonable Doubt. Uh, Jacqueline is a lawyer. She used to be a public defender. One of her biggest, the case that stuck with her was a case where Michael Ealy's character, I forget what his name is in the show, but he was on trial for murder. She believed he was innocent. He said he was innocent, but she lost the case. He ended up going to jail. He been in jail for 16 years. He calls her to tell her to come and see him because he wants to let her know that he going to go ahead when he go off for parole. He going to say that he did kill the person just so he could be able to get out of jail because he tired of spending time in jail or whatever. Um, she's a criminal defense attorney. So she's not a public defender anymore. She works for a top law firm. I believe she a partner, um, a holding partner or whatever they call it, because she has equity or whatever in the company now. Um, she has a client that's in. I think he a basketball player. A lady accuses him of sexual assault because she met him at a game or somewhere. Went to the hotel with him. He exposed himself, and she felt like he sexually assaulted her. She has an assistant who goes and looks into things and investigates people for her, and he's the same guy that played was his name Wong? Remember this is us. Remember Randall's assistant, the Asian guy, his campaign manager slash assistant. This is the same person that's playing her assistant on this show. Um, and he likes the BBW, so I heard in his latest episode that I just watched. But the show is pretty good. So basically, oh wow. Anyway, I'm back. The show is pretty good. Basically, Jax is a married but separated from her husband. He has an issue with the fact that she spends so much time in the work. So basically, him and the kids get ignored. They have two kids, Naima and Spencer. Spencer being a little asshole. He been an asshole towards his mother all three episodes. He prefers to be around the father. Um, Pauletta Washington, Denzel Washington's wife, she plays her mother. She's married to a man named Paul. But every time she mentions this man, Jax seems to get a weird look on her face and feels uneasy. So I don't know what the history there is between her stepfather and her. Um, she gets called in for a potential client by the name of, I think his name is Braden Wilson, I think, and that's played by Patrick Thomas. He played the main character on the main character opposite. He played Derek on Save the Last Dance. Remember him? He was real popping back in the early 2000s in the movies or whatever. Late 90s, early 2000s movies. But he's breeding. He has a liquor company. They getting ready to sign this $1 billion deal where the liquor is gonna do good, but the former CFO, they had to let her go. I'm not sure if they forced her to resign or she resigned on her own behalf, but she's accusing him of rape. And then we find out that he was in love with her. They had an actual relationship. I'm not, if and she and he wants her to sign an NDA. She says she's not signing it. He said he can make her sign it. So he goes to see her, and the next thing you know, the next morning after he sees her, she's dead. She's discovered by one of her cousins. So now this is turned into he needs to retain a lawyer, a criminal attorney, because he's going to be charged with murder because they call him the main suspect. Because they found a receipt of his that same night that he went to see her. Him and his wife had an anniversary dinner at this restaurant. He stopped by to see the young lady's name is Kalisha. He stopped by to see Kalisha. And sorry again. And they found his receipt in Kalisha's house, which means to me that was planted because she signed the NDA, so he had no reason to harm her or do anything to her. Kalisha has a husband that she's separated from, and he lives somewhere else. But his alibi, he right now he has an alibi because he was away at a conference for his job in Malibu. So they saying it wasn't him, and now it's the investigation to figure out who killed Kalisha and to clear Braden's name. Braden's an asshole. He comes off as one of those men that thinks because he's made it and he got money that he could talk down to other people, and especially women. Like, to me, he gives me that he does not respect women. Um to me, it seems as though Jax has a thing for Michael Ealy's character that she sent to jail. She tries to look out for him best way she can and stuff like that. But it's something there, like, if he weren't her client, that it might have been a romantic thing, because he went to jail for 16 years. She was upset that he said he was going to admit to doing it, even though he didn't do it, just so he can get out of jail. And she said she wasn't going to speak to him no more if he did that, but he did it anyway, and she's still speaking to him. Her and her husband putting on the front, they go to church together every Sunday, as if they still a happy couple, but they're not. He has a younger brother that's an artist and who's gay, and his character's from Philly, and his brother comes in town on one of the episodes. I think it's episode 2. Brother comes in town with his husband, and they he doesn't let the brother know that him and Jax are separated, because him and Jax are couples goals to his brother. So that happens. When Kalisha admits before she's murdered, she has a talk with Jax about the sexual assault. And when she tells Jax about it, you can see Jax's face change. So I'm wondering if Jax was sexually assaulted at some point in her life, and if it was at the hands of the mother's husband. I don't know. The mother is the mother is the mother is hell bent on getting Jax and Lewis, her husband, to make up and get married again. I mean, and salvage their marriage. Also, we see Lewis hires a security guard to be at the house since he's not living there. And the son is like, "But Dad, won't you just move back in instead of having to hire a security guard?" The security guard is being played by this guy. He played Jamal's husband, or the guy that Jamal went to Paris with on Empire. So you can see it's a little bit of sexual energy between Jax and the security guard. He gets fired from the job. We see that the husband got surveillance camera all through the house, especially like in the living room area. And when Jax and the security guard finally decide to take it there, she rides him reverse cowgirl style, on a chair in the living room and looks directly in the camera because she know her husband watching her. Then we see a scene, and I think she did that because there was a time that she went over to his house to talk, and they were sitting in the car, and they got to kissing, and he started fingering her, and just when she was about to come to, he stopped. So I'm feeling like she went back and had sex with the security guard and looked in the camera to be smart towards him. Then, the night that they put on the front for his brother and go to dinner, they had such a nice time that when he get ready to drop her off, they in the moment, they feel good. They go in, they kissing and everything on the couch, and they ready to have sex. And that's when he tell her, no, get in position like you did with the security guard. turn around backwards like you and do me like you was doing him. And that kind of clicked her back to reality. And he turned her off and she put him out of the house. She didn't do anything with him. She was upset. And she deserved to be. We get a scene where Braden is supposed to go to the police station to, go ahead and be answering questions or whatever. So they set up a time in a day for him to go and do that. And they track him, and he's like an hour away. So they thinking that he's not going to show up. So she go look for him. She finds him at this old basketball court. And he gives her, some details about his upbringing, his childhood, where he did have a brother. He always used to look out for his brother. His brother could hoop. He never was really any good, but the brother could hoop real good. And one day, the brother was out there at the court hooping. He got caught by a stray bullet and was murdered, killed. And like that bothers him to this day or whatever. And whenever he going through it and he feels stressed, that's what he like to do, is take it back to the court, shoot hoops or whatever. So he talked to her, and she figures out that he really did love Kalisha. He didn't rape her, but they got to figure out who's trying to set him up to make it look like he's the one who murdered Kalisha. Me personally, we find out that he got a white wife. I think his wife murdered Kalisha. Like I said, I think his wife murdered Kalisha. I'm thinking that he thinks she went home, but she followed him to where he went at. And I don't think she did it by her own hands. I think she paid somebody to murder her. That's what I was thinking by the end of that second episode. But now that I've watched the third episode, I think it might be the business partner that did it. Because when Jax's colleague, the other one who was going to be their litigation attorney if anything happened with their business, but now that they got a murder case going on, they need Jax there to do the criminal defense. And she had said that she wasn't going to do it because, like, now all of a sudden, like, you talked to me like shit when you first met me because you didn't need a criminal attorney. But now that you accused of murdering a black woman, you want a black woman to be a criminal defense attorney to make you look a certain way in the eyes of the black people. Kalisha also had a cousin. I forgot what her name was. That was with her when she told Jax that he sexually assaulted her. And this cousin believes that Braden killed Kalisha. And she's on Jax's heels about it. And at first Jax was like, I'm not going to represent him. But once she got all the facts and noticed some things, she was like, yeah, I'm going to take this case. And she, when he went to go turn himself at the police station, it was blasted on the news, like a press conference. It was like big news of the day. And the cousin seen it, so she got an attitude about it. So she confronts Jax about that in this episode. In this episode, Jax is so busy she asked the husband to keep the kids because they're gonna have like a preliminary hearing and everything for Brady. So the husband is taking care of the kids, and the little girl starts her cycle. She kept complaining about her stomach hurt, and she had said that in a few other episodes. And Jax was like, "Just when she have too much dairy, her stomach will hurt, so you just need to give her some fiber medication." Later on that day, she keeps saying her stomach hurt. He knocks on the bathroom door, asks the little girl, did you go to the bathroom? Like, what could it be? She was like, I'm bleeding. He was like, oh, you could just get a Band-Aid. She was like, no, I'm bleeding from down there. I said, oh, she didn't start a period. So he gave her a water tissue or napkins, told her to put that where she bleeding at, and he goes and tries to get Jax on the phone, but she ignoring it because she walking into the preliminary preliminary hearing and all that. And basically, she told Brady, no matter what they say, this is a good thing because this is where we will find out all the evidence they have and what we need to, and the things that we need to do to counteract this evidence. And, we can plan our mode of attack based on what they say. So don't be alarmed by anything they say in this hearing. Then the husband keep calling. He ain't never getting through. And he finally decides, well, I'm gonna just take her to the doctor. I thought he would just call the grandmother, Takes the little girl to the doctor, and Jax shows up there, and they say that she having her period, and he was feeling like she was too young. He was like, it got me nervous. I wanted to make sure that's what it really was, and it wasn't something else because she's a bit too young. So Jax was like, she's 10, barely 10, meaning like she just turned 10 and she having it. And I can understand that concern. And the doctor comes out and says, well, if y'all feel like she's too young to be going through this, there's ways we can remedy this. And I'm thinking to myself, well, how? Because I'm going to give y'all a little bit of my business. I remember having real bad, when I first started my cycle, I had real bad stomach cramps and stomach aches. And I kept pooping the weekend before I started my cycle. I had, she is so loud. I had, like I said, my stomach hurt real bad the week before I had it. And I kept having to poop the whole weekend. And I remember because I had, my next door neighbor had a sleepover. So I slept over her godmother's house with her that weekend. And I kept going to the bathroom that whole weekend. I'll never forget it. And then the next week, I was in school. And I kept feeling like I had to go to the bathroom, but it felt like it was dripping in my underwear. And I'm like, I ain't never dripped in my underwear. So I kept asking the teacher, raising my hand, asking her, can I go to the bathroom? And she kept acting like her name was Miss R. Harris. She kept acting like she ain't see my freaking hand, but I know she saw it. She finally let me go to the bathroom, and I saw the spots in my underwear. And now, me being so freaking obvious, I came straight out, washed my hands, came straight out the restroom, whispered in her ear. She gave me a note to go to the office. And I had to wait for my mom to come to come and get me. But this all happened a week before I turned 10. So I say all that to say that I was 9 and I got mine. And I didn't get no talk about it's a way we can stop this until we think she's ready to handle this part of life. I never got that from a doctor. Never had that conversation with a doctor. Ever. So I'm guessing they talking about putting her on some kind of oral contraceptive to try to keep her from having a cycle, because it is pills out there now that can make your period stop. But I wish I would have got that talk back then, because I started super early. My mom told me she didn't even start hers that freaking early. Anyway, that happens. There's a scene where the police come and do a search of Braden's house at the same time as the parole officer is searching Michael Ealy's room at the halfway house. And it's crazy because they playing these two scenes one behind another in conjunction with each other. And they playing Jay-Z song, OJ. Rich nigga, poor nigga, still nigga. It was crazy. But what I did like about this part that showed Braden, it was a black cop there. And he was like, come on, don't give them a reason. Like, chill out, just relax. Try to be as calm as possible. Don't give them a reason to throw you down and make an example out of you or whatever. Like, chill out, brother, you know. But I felt like it was fucked up what the parole officer was doing to Michael Ealy's character, because he was like, your drug test came back inconclusive. He was like, I don't know why, because I don't do drugs. I never did, or whatever. And he was like, you don't got. He was like, where the drugs? Where the drugs? He kept saying he know it was drugs in there. He flipped his shit up and tore his room up or whatever, looking for something that he couldn't find. Then he brandished his gun to try to get Michael intimidate him while he was going through his stuff. He was like, you ain't even gotta do me like this or whatever. So he called. So it's like all of them was calling Jax at the same time. One of her friends was calling her to talk to her about some opinion that she had the last time they got together. She got an attitude about that. She get the phone call about the daughter, the husband taking the daughter to the doctors. She get a phone call from Michael Ealy's character about what the parole officer did to him. And she also get a call from her colleague about how the police just went up and ransacked Braden's house searching for evidence. So, this episode was a lot. We find out, her little investigator finds out that Kalisha had another cousin that was staying with her, and she put the cousin out because the cousin was a thief. She gets her assistant, the little guy, to investigate and follow the girl. And he said, I followed her going to a pawn shop, her and her boyfriend, and they got a laptop in their hand. He said she took it in the pawn shop. So he's still on the phone with Jax. And he's like, I'm going to go investigate, see if I can buy it back. And she said, all right. But when he get up to the door, her and her boyfriend's right there with the laptop in their hand. Like, why you following me? Stay the fuck away from me. And then her boyfriend beats him up, and Jax is on the phone and hearing all of this, and the episode goes off. This show is really good. I like it. I really liked I like the storyline, I would say. And it got a whole lot of different parts going on. So it's been good. But some of the stuff, like I've seen some people say who review it saying they don't see the chemistry between Jax and Lewis. Like she showed more sexual chemistry and stuff with Michael Ealy's character and with the former security guard, which she does. I don't really see the chemistry between her and the guy who plays her husband. I don't. I really like the music that they use for this show. I really like that they played OJ during that scene where we saw the cops in Braden's home and we saw the parole officer in Michael Ealy's character's room at the halfway house. I really did like that. Only one scene in this whole episode made me cringe, and that was the scene where Jax was in her car with the radio on, and this song came on, and she was having carpool karaoke, and it was cringy as fuck, because it's like her rapping the lyrics to this song. It wasn't believable at all. At all. I was like, I didn't like that. They should have did another tape, or used another tape. That was not good. But that's it. That's all I gotta say right now on this video. I'll see y'all in the next one. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. And get in the comments and talk to me with some of the stuff that y'all been watching lately. It's right now, the only thing that's really exciting me that I watch is the House of the Dragon. I've been looking forward to that every week. Raising Kanan was good this past week too. This second season been moving a lot to me slower, and it's not been that much action. But this past episode was really good. Lou effing up, and he jumped from the frying pan to the fire by getting help from Cartier. Speaking of Cartier, Omar Dorsey, you doing your thing, getting to the bag, ain't you? You in everything. I see you gonna be in Halloween, the Halloween movie, and I think you was in the last one too as the sheriff. I see you on here, on Raising Cane, and you still doing Queen Sugar too. You're very versatile because you don't let them pigeonhole you. Because Hollywood is way different from Cartier. Way different. And way different from that man that you played in the movie Harriet. When you kicked Janelle Monáe character in the face, I was mad at you for that. Real mad. But I know it's just a role that you was playing. But yeah. See y'all in the next one. That's all I got to say. Bye y'all till next time.